Hey everybody, it's Steve here, and welcome to Dragon's Lair. This is an arcade game from 1983, which meant that I would have been about 9 years old at the time. Modern gamers might not appreciate this game for what it is. It is an arcade game, obviously. Like I said, it runs on a Laserdisc. It is a fully animated cartoon that you control. It's basically a QuickTime event game before QuickTime events even existed. Just seeing this arcade machine in an arcade, I was just drawn to it. It combines my two loves: video games and animation, and it couldn't have made me happier. And it still makes me happy to play it to this day. It was just a beautiful machine just to even look at. I've got it set to easy just for the purposes of this playthrough. I do have like the hint guides on. Again, in the original arcade machine, there's no hints. You have to just learn as you go. You play as Dirk the Daring here, who is anything but daring. He literally runs away from a lot of things, to be honest. But you can see I've got the controls on that tell you what to hit. But even with those on, it's still difficult. You've got to be quick with those buttons. Maybe I've got it set on easy, so it might not be that bad. But basically we're trying to rescue the lovely Princess Daphne from the clutches of the evil dragon. It's not a long game by any means, but what made it a long game at the time is that you had to learn the joystick sword. It was a joystick and a sword button, and that was it. You had to learn the combinations for each scene, which could take a while. And it was an expensive game too. Obviously video games at the time were a quarter. This one was 50 cents, I'm pretty sure. I know it was more than a quarter, I know that. The machine had like a monitor on top of it, so that people in line, and there would be a line, could watch other people play it while they were waiting. It was just, it was a good time. It was a very popular machine. It raked in a lot of money because it was a quarter sucker, without a doubt. Oh my god, that's not good. I do have it set for 5 lives instead of 3. You know, I'm kind of giving myself all kinds of advantages here. The death scenes are actually probably the funniest parts of the game, to be honest. This is such an easy scene. I don't know how I messed that up, but that's how QuickTime events go. The death scenes are actually quite comical. Oh, Lizard King already. The scenes kind of are at random. I think they just kind of rotate. There's no specific order, but you will get through all of them in one playthrough. I think I just gotta keep going right. And eventually I'm gonna have to kick his ass. Yes, Lizard King, come at me. With your magnetic pot of gold that stole my sword, however that works. The animation was done by Don Bluth's crew. Land Before Time, American Tail, those kinds of movies. And Mr. Bluth has a very interesting imagination. You definitely see it in the second game. There is a Dragon's Lair 2. I prefer it to this game, to be honest. It's such a mindfuck. It's a complete mindfuck, and I love it. It has nothing to do whatsoever. It's Dragon's Lair in name only. But we'll get to that when we get to that. I'll definitely play that on this channel, without a doubt. Doing quite well here, just the one death so far. I do not remember this room. Fire and electricity, and more fire, and we have to get out through the side. Yes, okay. So yeah, this was very popular at the time, and to look at it now, anyone who wasn't around at the time probably won't appreciate it fully. Because to play it now, sitting here at home, it seems rather simple, rather basic, but it was very innovative for its time. It was something like no one had ever seen before in an arcade machine, that's for sure. And we're going to get off to the right here. Some of the screens will flip, so that was another little trick that they did to prolong the gameplay, is that some of the scenes would be like mirror imaged. You know, like here we go now, we're on the... We've already done this before. We're on the opposite side now. Or we're mirror imaged now. So even if you learn the controls for a scene, you had to be prepared for it to be backwards at any given time. This horse is kind of strange, and just running towards the columns, I never really understood a lot of the things that go on in this game, to be honest. But it's obviously, I'm pretty sure it's the castle of Mordroc who is the villain in the second game. You never see him in this game, but I'm pretty sure it's Mordroc's castle. And the dragon is Singe. And Daphne, as you will see when we get there, is the most stereotypical damsel in distress that you've ever laid your eyes on. These are all pretty simple. This part is interesting, you gotta go up. And then after this we're going to have to avoid some whirlpools, which are pretty slow moving. It's pretty obvious what you have to do. Just slowly work your way around them. Yeah, what I loved about this game is that it was actually... It was what I call good animation. It's very high quality. It's not like Saturday morning cartoon kind of animation. It's actually... It's like... kind of like an animated movie at the time. It's up to that level of quality. I think something happens to Dirk's sword there where he can't use it for some reason. It like gets electrified. A lot of things in this game happen very quickly. And you're so busy focused on what you have to do that you don't always catch everything. And here we're just gonna go off to the right. You're gonna hear Daphne yelling, "Save me," way too much. Oh, snakes! And more snakes. And that one, we're just gonna leave because he's gonna take a lunge at us, right? Yeah. A little slippery slope. The creature from the beginning is gonna... Oh, shit! No, that's not good. I mean, it'd almost be good just to show off all of the death animations, because they in a warped way they are funny. But do not grab the chain here. That's just gonna like open a floodgate and drown you. This one's pretty self-explanatory. We're just gonna kind of work our way around the room. Just go where the floor is not crumbling, basically. Go where the enemies are not. A spider's gonna pop out. I did play a few rounds of this before I started, just to get a feel for it again. I would show like you could play like the trailer that like played in the arcade machine, but I guess the biggest thing I'm concerned about with this is copyright infringement or whatever, because it's a game that can easily be like content ID'd. So I don't know. I shouldn't even talk about that, but. Jinx myself, you know. But I'm pretty sure that the trailer would probably get content ID'd. And that's not going to work, Dirk. I think you just need to run. Because this scene is just up, up, up. That's all you gotta hit. There's some leniency here too, is that you don't have to be as precise, I'm finding. As long as you're hitting the proper button. You know, you could like hit it repeatedly. In the arcade machine, if you... Maybe it's because I was young, I don't know, but if you hit the button at the wrong time, you might be hitting the proper button. Oh, no! No, Dirk! I am sorry. I am sorry, Dirk. That's terrible. I'm basically the... Well, I was going to call it the loading screen, but I guess it's really not, because it was all run on a Laserdisc, so... It just seems like that scene appears so much. Of him falling down that pit. Now we're back to the horse again. And it's going to be backwards. Oh, gosh! And we've been burned alive. That's terrific. This isn't good. I might not actually do this. I've only got one life left. Is there a life 0? I don't remember. I don't remember if there's a life 0 or not. Now we're back to the skulls again. I mean, yeah, this, you know, creepy stuff. The death animations as well. It's kind of disturbing imagery, and yeah, but that's how it was back then. And it's not like today where everyone's so sensitive about stuff like this. And know, this is obviously tame by today's standards, but alright, let's not mess this up again. There we go. Don't look so surprised, Dirk. It's happened like 3 times already. Don't get electrocuted, don't get crushed. And oh, okay, that paused for a little bit there. I've got several versions of this game. I've got it on the PC, I've got it on the PlayStation 2, this is the Wii version. This is the smoothest running version of this game that I've ever seen. Usually like the transitions and from putting in the proper command, it just seems like there's always like some lag or a pause for even a brief time before it loads. This is running very smoothly. All kinds of chemical monsters. I think some of the most disturbing ones are when Dirk gets like eaten by the acid. It just like crawls up him and consumes him. The Giddy Goons. How could we forget the Giddy Goons? Doesn't seem to care about the ones that are behind him. We're back in this room, but again, you can see now it's mirrored. So now the image is backwards, and so learning the pattern isn't always a good thing. No, I want to keep talking about Dragon's Lair 2, but I should save it because that game is just such a trip. There's a lot of dialogue in it. That's one thing I haven't done on this channel is play games with dialogue in it. Me freaking flapping my gums all through the whole game. I don't know how I would handle a game that actually had dialogue like that one does, but I guess we'll see. Like more electrified floors, or fire floors, I guess, really. And, whoa, we are at the Dragon's Lair. Okay, there's Daphne, there's Singe. Gotta be quiet, don't wake up the dragon. Daphne's looking pretty well off for someone who's been kidnapped by a dragon. With her fancy dress. And Dirk, what did I tell you? Let's keep quiet. Let's do this with as much stealth as possible.
Please save me! The cage is locked with a key. The dragon keeps it around his neck. To slay the dragon, use the magic sword.
Never has dragon slaying sounded so sexual. Ever. Oh my god. Could she be any more stereotypical? Just avoid the dragon, just gotta get the sword. Yes, you're very impressed, Daphne, I know. With my awesome skills of manliness. There we go, get it. Let's slay a dragon. And booyah, that's it. It's as simple as that. So again, you're only looking at like maybe 10 minutes of animation / gameplay. And yet, you could spend so much money on this game when it was back in the arcade. It was just ridiculous. But that's it. That's Dragon's Lair. It's a part of my childhood. It's a very fond memory of my childhood. The second game as well, even though that came out much later. I want to say like a decade later, to be honest, almost 8 or 9 years later, something like that. And there was also another game called Space Ace, which is actually on this collection here, but we'll talk about all that when the time is appropriate. Dragon's Lair, what can I say? It's animation and video games combined, and it is a huge love of mine. I wish more video games had like a more animated style to it. I'm not saying like with QuickTime events like this game, but to just combine those two of my biggest passions is an awesome thing. There's my high scores. So that's that. That's Dragon's Lair. I will do Dragon's Lair 2 at some point, not right off the bat. We're going to see how this one goes when I upload it. Everyone take it easy. Have a good day. Peace. And thanks for joining me for Dragon's Lair. And I will see you next time. Bye.